I say it all the time. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country, and now we have the hottest country in the world.
We spoke about a year ago. That was right after the inauguration of President Trump, for the second time. We're 1 year later. Did it turn out the way you expected?
It is turning out pretty much exactly the way that I expected, unfortunately. They've weakened the parts of the government which care for people's health, and they've strengthened the parts of the government which are concerned with repression, as we've seen in the last few days.
Timothy Snyder, Amerikaans historicus, gespecialiseerd in autoritaire regimes en vrijheid. In Bozar wordt hij deze week onthaald als een rockster.
We need history because it helps us defend ourselves against the myths that are used to rule us. And the myths that are used to rule us pretty much always take the same form. The form is, there was a time in the past where everything was good and we were innocent, and then other people came and they took it all away from us.
Is it the beginning of a new historical era?
Oh, that seems too flattering to the president. The president operates chiefly in terms of the paradigm of private property.
You know, I'm a real estate developer. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, you know, I said that's the way it was meant to be.
As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now.
He thinks of everything as being his or not his, and it's not a very fruitful way to practice politics.
Okay, how would you describe the way politics is being practiced today?
Well, I think it's a certain kind of cowardly fascism, I would say, where they perpetrate violence, but they tend to do so indirectly.
Hence cowardly.
Yeah, they don't take responsibility for their own violence. So someone is murdered on the street in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then they immediately lie about it. And both the murdering and the lying are terrible. So in that way, it's a sort of postmodern fascism.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking God!
You use very strong words, like cowardly fascism, for example. Does it help the discussion on what's going on?
So the term fascism isn't one that I use in public a lot, but I think it is very important to try to conceptualize what's going on. Because if we don't conceptualize it, we just get lost in their sound bites. We get lost in the noise that they produce every day.
Can you explain the word conceptualize? Just what do you mean exactly?
Yeah, to provide terms, to provide explanations, to provide broader frameworks
vocabulary
of what's going on. Yeah, and that does reach people, because people certainly have a sense that something is wrong, or that something is not American, or that they just have a bad feeling about things. But then they need a language, whether that's a language of law, or a language of rights, or of constitutionalism, or of freedom. It really helps to have that language, and I think that is a role that people should be playing. It's a role that I'm happy to try to play.
Where are the Democrats in this? We don't see them taking the lead in protesting or offering an alternative.
So one of the things that troubles me a lot is when people ask, who's going to run for president in 2028? And I think the first question is whether we have a country then, but the second question is, or the second issue is, the person who's going to win the presidency in 2028 could well be somebody we haven't even heard of yet, because the next 6 months and a year are going to be so eventful that they're going to generate new personalities, or they're going to raise people up.
You just said we don't even know if we will still have a country then.
Well, yeah, we've been around for a long time. I mean, we've had a nice long run. I think we will be. I'm quite optimistic about this. I mean, I do take part in organizing, and I do take part in protests. And
what does it mean if there's no more country?
Well, what does it mean that there's no more country? That's not so hard to imagine, isn't it? We're sitting in Belgium right now. I mean, it
falls apart. States go their separate ways?
Yes. States cease to recognize the authority of the federal government, I think, is the most likely. And we just talked about this. I mean, the federal government is making it hard. It's making it hard. If you're in California and you're looking at Washington, thousands of kilometers away, taking all of this tax money, right? And then at any moment, they just take it away from you. They stop funding things that you're doing, or they send troops to your cities. So I don't think it's the most likely thing, but I do think, I put it this way, the main reason to resist is not to be against Trump. The main reason to resist is to demonstrate the existence of the country in some better version of itself. Because if we get through this, it will be as a better version of ourselves.
And you still feel free to speak your mind, make your analysis?
Oh yeah, I do.
You never?
Yeah, I do. But having said that, the risks that people face are real. Americans have lost their jobs. They've been fired from universities. They've been fired from their positions in the federal government. They've faced personal threats. They've been beaten up. They've been intimidated because of things they've said. That happens. I mean, that's a real part of life in my country. I'm in a pretty protected position compared to a lot of people who live in my country. But no, I'm not afraid personally. And in any event, I mean, I think those of us who can say what we think should say what we think, because we're in an atmosphere of a kind of depressive spiral of ever stupider but also ever more dangerous propaganda. And in that environment, one doesn't really have a choice. One should say what one thinks.
I thank you for your taking the time to talk to us.
My pleasure.